And speaking of the government and how they're always trying to pose as the saviors and saying that we need them to protect our health, a couple of weeks ago, Dan Bidondi showed part 1 of his series on flu shots and flu vaccines and why they are dangerous. Well, coming up right now, we're going to go to part 2 of Dan's hard-hitting news story on flu vaccines. Over to you, Dan.
Hi, Dan Bidondi reporting here for the InfoWars Nightly News. In part 2 of our special in-depth report on the flu season, we are going to reveal real statistics that both the Center for Disease Control and the federal government lie about. And we will expose how vaccinations are used for more of a diabolical purpose, such as global depopulation, as openly stated by Bill Gates. An article by Paul Joseph Watson, which is also in the InfoWars monthly magazine of October of 2012 edition. And the article is New Study Finds Link Between Flu Shot and the H1N1 Pandemic. A new study has found that people who received a flu shot before the outbreak of 2009 H1N1 pandemic were more likely to catch the swine flu virus, a startling discovery given the fact that the experts have blamed the pharmaceutical industry for deliberately engineering the pandemic to make huge profits from vaccines. NaturalSociety.com reports that flu shot worsens H1N1 symptoms, a new research reveals. And it states that vaccines made individuals more sick and worsened the H1N1 symptoms. And the article states that vaccines are often chock full of harmful ingredients that might get us sicker than the illness itself. Chemicals found in the flu vaccines include aluminum, a neurotoxic linked to Alzheimer's disease, formaldehyde, a carcinogen. PrisonPlanet.com reports a bombshell that 18 people died of the flu, not 36,000 as claimed by the CDC. The flu season is approaching, and of course we will see the Center for Disease Control urge all parents to act like good little robots and have the whole family jabbed with flu shots. The usual warnings and predictions will be trumped by the CDC and their compliant media, in other words, propaganda. And according to the CDC statistics, influenza and pneumonia took 62,000 lives in 2001, 61,000 of which were attributable to pneumonia and 257 to the flu. And only in 18 cases was the flu virus positively identified. As you can see, the CDC had created one category that combined both the flu and pneumonia deaths. And Natural News reports 30 stunning facts they don't want you to know about Gardasil and HPV vaccines. And we don't have time to go over all 30, so we highlighted just a few of the very important ones. It has never been proven that HPV vaccine prevents cervical cancer. There is no scientific evidence of any kind. All the marketing assertions are false. It is one of the largest, most harmful medical hoaxes of our time. Officially, the vaccine has been associated with approximately 100 deaths and 500 have been permanently disabled. Pap smears prevent over 80% of cervical cancer. A yearly pap smear reduces your chance of getting cervical cancer up to 0.002%. And finally, the FDA website has no mention that the vaccine was ever tested on males, yet the CDC says the vaccine is recommended for all boys and men through the ages of 21. And for more information on vaccines and their side effects, right here is the nail in the coffin. Right from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control themselves, reporting the dangerous side effects of all the listed vaccines. And Cryptagon reports that Gates Foundation funds unmanned aerial vehicles known as drones to distribute vaccines. And the article states that Judge Barbatius of the Harvard-MIT Division of the Health Sciences and Technology in the USA will lead a team to develop unmanned aerial vehicles that can be deployed by healthcare workers via cell phones to swiftly transport vaccines to rural locations and alleviate last-mile delivery problems and improve cost, quality, and coverage of vaccine supplies. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is funding plenty of the vaccines-related programs, as usual, giving away the larger attempt to fight back against vaccine skeptics and push for total global saturation of vaccines. Infowars.com reports a leading World Bank demographic of vaccination campaigns part of population reduction policy. And it states on October 2nd, a retired demographer at the World Bank admitted that vaccination campaigns are a part of the World Bank's population policies. The World Health Organization, the World Bank, the UN Environmental Department, the UN Population Fund, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and all other arms of the creature we call the scientific dictatorship are closing in on humanity with mass-scale vaccination programs and genetically engineered food. In the elite's psychotic vision, they state if you eradicate the human, you eradicate the disease. Problem solved, they say. Bill Gates goes on to ask, can fertility reduction be an integral element of a disease eradication campaign? Well, the answer to that question is given by Bill Gates in the 2010 TED conference meeting when he promoted using vaccines to lower the population by 10 to 15%, as you see in this video.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Thank you for joining us in part 2 of this special in-depth report on the flu season. Remember, folks, avoid the propaganda and just say no. And this is Dan Bidondi reporting for the Infowars Nightly News.